The big dog in Southwest Detroit runs an operation called the Ideal Group. He's Frank Venegas, whose cluster of factories fabricate construction components and an assortment of plastic and steel products you'll find around buildings and on construction sites across the country. Frank is living the American dream where his grandfather planted roots 100 years ago.
He always told me, he says, do what your boss doesn't want to do, and you'll get his job every time.
Venegas grew up a child of the 60s, but when the chance came to step up in the business world, he was ready. He just needed some seed money when he heard about a raffle to win a brand new 1979 Cadillac.
I knew I was going to win it. My wife was pregnant, and we just bought our first house. We really didn't have the money, but we were going to go, and we knew we were going to win.
He sold the Cadillac for $12,000 and began working for himself.
My first ad, this was in 1979, I was selling culverts.
And he did steelwork for buildings, based near Brighton in Livingston County. He put together a production crew that included Darryl Palms, who stepped out of prison and into a job on the production line. Palms has been with Ideal for more than 20 years and says without his job, he would have been lost to the streets.
I wouldn't say he's my boss. I would look at him being my mentor or maybe a guy who saved my life.
There's a picture of Hank and Gary. That's Hank with Hank Aaron.
Frank's decisive moment came after talking to former Detroit Tiger Hank Agary. Agary owned Mexican Industries in Southwest, a thriving automotive supplier.
And Hank was our friend, and Hank said, man, you need to come down here, Frank, because this is where you grew up. This is where your family's from. I mean, he wasn't real nice to me. And, he said I was chicken.
Frank set up shop on the site where GM used to build Cadillacs.
The Cadillac Clark Street plant was, this is 1955, it was considered the most modern manufacturing plant in the world.
Street gangs had the run of the neighborhood until Ideal came in. Frank didn't put up a fight. Instead, he sat down with them.
I mean, I don't want to use the word ghetto, but it was tough. And when the four gangs sat down and talked to us, they come up with the same thing that they wanted. They wanted opportunity to work.
Frank gave them jobs with benefits, which for some turned into careers. Ideal continued to grow, now working on construction projects like the new hockey arena. But this is a diversified operation. While doing steelwork at a factory, Frank got an idea.
They were painting bumper posts, and they were painting bumper posts because they needed to paint them yellow for the safety, and they were getting ready for the big bosses to come in.
Why not just slide a plastic cover over it?
This is for McDonald's, and you can imagine how many of these we sold at McDonald's.
They bought them by the thousands, and the Ideal Shield bumper post cover took off.
That's nuts. Who would ever do that? Well, we do it.
The ideas kept coming. Plastic-covered barriers, portable signs. Now Frank's innovations have moved into the world of education.
Here's some school kid pictures right here. This is all the Cristo Rey classes. I mean, you can go back. I got 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Frank's team has been helping local Cristo Rey high school students, hiring them and preparing them for college. Many headed to Marygrove College and University of Detroit Mercy. Then Frank thought about how he could reach even younger students.
I had a bunch of American Express points, and I traded them in, and I bought art sets.
Frank buys projects in bulk and gives them to school libraries. Kids will check these out just like books. Probably not a new idea, but Frank's making it happen, like he does in the business world.
Well, get over here fast, man. Don't munch around. We play no different than what my grandpa told me. Do what the boss don't want to do, you'll get their job every time. As long as you do that, you can almost do anything.